Anything else?
Run after him.
Do you want to make a brain? Or?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, okay. Remember we were talking about how we get involved in, we get these neural circuits, we get stuck in these neural circuits. Our angry neural circuit or our fearful neural circuit, and then it becomes the lens that we view the world through. Remember? Okay. So let's build a brain that's stuck like that, and then we'll build the brain that's not stuck. Okay. So remember, I think I talked about yesterday how we have this survival mode that, let's say you run out in front of a car and then your adrenaline needle goes whoop, and you get this big rush of adrenaline. There's a part of the brain that releases the adrenaline, that manufactures it. It's the factory for the adrenaline that gets pumped into the system so quickly. It's called the locus coeruleus. And again, you have, the more complicated the name, the more you have to pay the doctor, because most of medicine is just learning a vocabulary that other people don't understand. So, and it's called the locus coeruleus. It just means the blue place. That's all it means. And when they were first figuring out what the brain was, they'd make these little slices and put dyes on them, and this thing dyed blue. So it's the locus coeruleus. And so, Tom, since you've got the blue suit coat on, you're going to be the locus. Tom's going to be the locus coeruleus, which means what?
Blue spot.
See? I didn't make that up. So, so Tom's the locus coeruleus, and now we need to connect him to the rest of the brain. He's located right at the top of the base of the brain. Okay? Remember, there's 3 brains. So he's the top of the reptilian brain. Give me one of these, Tom.
So I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's the top of the lizard brain. You did it well. Actually, it's a little scary. You did it too well. You scared me, Tom. Don't be that good at it. So, all right, now we got to connect Tom to the next set of parts of the brain. We're going to connect him to the amygdala and the hippocampus. So who wants to be an amygdala?
It's really cool.
Lynn, you got amygdala written all over you. Micah, come on, you're going to be amygdala. We need 2 amygdalas and we need a hippocampus. Hippocampus means seahorse, and you got it. Because it looks like a seahorse. So, Miss Missy, you want to be a part of the hippocampus?
You want to be a seahorse?
You could be a seahorse. Come on, let's go over here. Come on, we're making a brain. So, okay, so we need a. Can we make a space? Can we get rid of these chairs? Just move them over. We're going to make our brain right where you guys are sitting. So whenever you remember something, whenever you experience something, your brain, are you part of the hippocampus? And your hippocampus? No, you guys stay right there. Maybe like right here, like this. So what happens is Tom will secrete adrenaline, and oh, I know. I put the strongest. Actually, are you comfortable being right there? Okay. So what happens is now the amygdala is where the emotions. It's like the switchboard. Remember Lily Tomlin on Laugh-In? She was the switchboard lady. So it's not so much that emotions are in the amygdala, but it's the switchboard to get all the neural networks for an emotion to happen. So Lynn is going to be, what you want to be, fear or anger? Let's make it fear.
Very good.
So, well, you okay? You want something else? I mean, we can do something else. We're going to do another emotion later. All right. So she'll, okay, so now we got Micah and Lynn are getting this fear thing to happen. And so what they'll do, let's say what we're being afraid of is the car coming at us, right? So they will also hook over to the hippocampus over here and say, when you see a car coming at you quickly, be afraid, be very afraid, right? So you're filing that memory with an emotion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why therapy works. You get people to have emotions and then they have all these memories. It's because they're connected neurologically. Isn't that wild? So it's not some mystical psychoanalytic thing, it's neurologically the way it's filed. That's the way it's done. So what happens is that these emotional patterns, if we don't examine them, they become lifelong enduring patterns, right? And we think, well, I'm always afraid because I'm always afraid. Well, no, that's just how you chose, in your ancient architecture of your brain, that happen and you just haven't examined it and chosen something else. Okay, so now we need some more limbic system up here. I need 5 people up here to be a limbic system. Buffer, you got that limbic thing happening. Okay. We're right over here. Everybody's word on the street. Okay, Ronnie, right over here. Here we go. Right up right there. Okay, you guys are the beginning of a limbic system, and this is that top of the midbrain that's taking that fear and maybe turning it into all sorts of other emotions. What can fear turn into? Fear can turn into, it can be anger, it could be more anxiety, it could be all sorts of things. So you guys are going to give a particular kind of flavor to this experience of fear. So let's just have Missy take her hand and put it on Linda right there. And how about the other one on Ronnie? Okay, now I need some cortex. I need some serious cortex happening. Okay, now you guys got to get up. You got to move your chairs, over, because we're going to make a cortex here with everybody else. Come on, we need cortex. Actually, at this point, everybody just get in here. Let's move some chairs. And I'm not saying it's going to be a pretty brain. I never said that.
All right, I'm sitting back down.
Are you making a conga line?
Yeah, and then we're going to play Jeopardy. I cracked myself up. So. Okay, so here we go. Over here. Ortis, we don't have a brain without you, my friend. You got to get over here. So, and now, you guys, you going to be the brain? Come on, we need another layer of brain going on here. So just another layer here. What do you got? There's no picture taking in the brain. We need you in the brain. Huh? You're the roaming hippocampus. Okay, on in here. Now we need another layer up here. Okay. Now, let's have you guys turn that way. This row here, you turn facing those guys. And every other one of you. So you, Ron, you turn that way, and then you turn that way, and then Jack that way, and that way. Okay, yeah, and then. Okay, there we go. Now, so all right. So now let's say Tom started this, right? And there's a car coming down the street, and Tom set off the adrenaline, right? And it worked its way up to Lynn, who got a fear emotion engaged, right? A survival emotion. Sent it over here into the memory so that it gets encoded that whenever there's a bumper coming at you, be afraid, be very, very afraid. And that comes up here to Linda and Ronnie, who put out a neural connection where Jack, and then meet your hand this way, like this. And what this thought is, what this particular thought says is, jump out of the way, and isn't my life terrible because cars are always coming at me, right? It just says life is dangerous, right? And it's a neural pathway. Let's turn it into another stressor. Let's say it's not a car coming at you. Let's say it's walking into a group of people you don't know. And you have stored in your hippocampus there a set of memories that says, you know, ever since I've been a kid, when I walk in a room, people make fun of me. Right? And so now that has turned into a neural pattern that just keeps playing itself over and over again. Right? It becomes an enduring neural pattern. Does that make sense? How much of the brain is it using? Not very much of the brain. Well, how do you guys feel? Do you guys feel left out? Yeah. You are left out. The rest of the brain, forget about it. Forget about it. It's like you don't even need the rest of your brain. Because the lizard brain, Tom and his minions, have hijacked your brain. That's a really bad choice. That's a real bad decision. Okay, so now, what happens is just before you walk in, you're having all those emotional feelings that you always do. I got to tell you, before I give a public talk, I am terrified. From the time I was a child, I couldn't stand talking in public. It makes me nervous. I used to have a terrible stammer. I would go, nothing would come out. And God knows what happened. Now I won't shut up. So let's say now, I'm getting ready to talk in public. My locus ceruleus is working overtime. My locus ceruleus is the size of a grapefruit, right? And everybody else, it's the size of like a pea, half of a pea. So anyway, so I'm feeling all those feelings running through my amygdala, and it's pulling up all these memories of being embarrassed in 6th grade reading Hamlet, right? But then I make a choice. I say, oh, wait a minute. Oh God, refresh and gladden my spirit. Right? And I remind myself, so that instead of my brain being controlled from the brainstem, I get Joel out here to start thinking a different thought, right? Out in my cortex. Because I've practiced it enough, right? I've said that word enough times that I can go, oh, wait a minute. There's another way to handle this. So Joel, from the cortex, is getting a set of thoughts going this way, that now we've got a whole other neural network happening that, let's see, do this, and then you got to go that way, and then you get the idea, right? And so you're kicking in more of this brain, right? And so now all this neural networking is heading back this way. Barbara, let's have you turn. There we go. And it's now the control of the brain is coming from Joel in the cortex back this way to calm Tom down. Right? So Tom, but listen, Tom's got an important role. Tom's got to keep us safe, right? The locus ceruleus' job is to keep us safe. He's going to keep pumping out that adrenaline until Joel tells him it's okay. Until so you got to have that part of the brain. You got to wake Joel up and help him get strong. The purpose of if you want to just look at the prayers as a neurological tool, what the prayers do is they open up possibilities we never would have entertained if we were just thinking about survival, right? So suddenly there's this gracious, loving, all-merciful God, and oh, I can relax. And like Tom says, you can have a sense of gratitude, a sense of acceptance, right? And then be more giving and less restricted in the way you think in the world. So now what literally happens is parts of the brain open up when they do functional magnetic resonance imaging studies or PET scan studies. Whole parts of the brain activate when you introduce love into a person's experience versus fear, right? And so it literally opens up the potential of your brain. Right? So praying isn't just a good idea. And I'd like us to think of it more than just waiting for some mystical thing to happen, which can happen and does happen. But that what we're really doing is we're exercising choice. We're exercising our will. We're exercising our volition, our intentionality. We are intending to be calm, grateful beings in the face of difficulty. It's an intention, right? So our faith, the spirit of faith becomes the spirit of intention, right? Aligning our will with the divine will, which means accepting it as all good.
I just thought about a short phrase from Abdu'l-Baha that says the intention is capacity.
Intention is, ooh, wow. I never heard that. Farfar, that's wonderful. You should have given this. See, I'm tired of hearing me. I should have been Farfar. So that's the idea with the brain, friends. So this is just sort of a physical way to represent it.